think to yourself, that almost looks like a boob! Versus back with the Atari when you had to kind of imagine, like I did playing Pac-Man. That could be one, a nipple chaser. But in the 90s, things kind of started to take a turn for the worse. And it started with music. Now, music has always been really descriptive. You've got metal, you've got hard rock, you've got country, you've got rap, and you got disco, because back then they were doing enough drugs that everything sounded freaking funny as them. It's like disco, what's that mean? Disco round. Have some of that cocaine. But they came out with this music, and it was named grunge, which the only thing I had ever heard called grunge, I had to go to Kmart to buy scrubbing bubbles to get out of my toilet. But it kind of fit because the music wasn't happy and it was noisy and it was loud, and apparently the outfits for these were plaid and ripped jeans like you're an out-of-work lumberjack or a dairy farmer. And that, if you think about it, kind of fits, because if I'm getting up at 5 in the morning and all I've got to look forward to for the next 5 hours is the ass end of a cow, Kiss's rock and roll all night is not what I want to hear. And everything else kind of started to go down that other road. We started to hear a term about movies called dark. Like that movie, that's just too dark. It's like, what do you mean? It's too realistic? You got movies like X-Men where this guy's got claws out to here and he's slashing people. What do you think was going to come out of there? You? Everything's dark, or even better, it's not like the book. If you want it like the book, get a projector and project the book on the screen. I don't read it. I like moving pictures. I like seeing the story progress. I like seeing instead of imagining girls. And then after the 90s, we rolled into the 2000s. Now, as I said with the names, the 80s were Wimpy's, the 90s. When you started it, they started that wimpy stage and kept going, but then towards the end, it seemed to bring out the inner redneck in everybody. It's 1998, or 98, we're going to go see the race. It brought out the tard in everybody. And then when you hit 2000, it got even worse, because 2000, 2001, 2002, it was like the redneck just hit the lotto. Got a little money, don't really know what to do with it. So everything is like, 2000, got away with, or 2K, where the only thing that went wrong was what? Their computers couldn't work. We can't even program a VCR that doesn't flash 12, 12, 12. But when you got past it, like, how do you say that cool? You can't say it's 2001 or 2002. It's what? Or 22. What are you talking about? Is that your IQ size? No, it's 20 up 2. Like the sound of that shotgun shell going into the chamber as he forces you to marry his daughter. You would get away with at that time in your life because you snuck out the back door of the barn. But we kept moving, and finally we hit 2010. And it's just going to get better, because now the future stuff that our parents were thinking about, you know, flying cars, meal pills and all that, maybe we'll start seeing that. And you know what'll be great about it? Everybody will have one. And, you know, maybe some of those old cartoons that being on Cartoon Network and everything else, we can see them on the computer, like the Smurfs and the Snorks and everything. And if you combine that and how cool that 2010 and now can be, everything's going to be all right. Even better, I like the flying car part. I think that's going to be fun to get laid in when you're not like rolling over bumpy roads and shocks and bouncing out of the back. The third is, you'll be able to identify my car. You know why? It'll be the one with the bumper sticker that says, I fucked a snork in All-Star. He's pissed. Hopefully we've kind of hit the cool decade. And we'll just move forward with that and see how it goes. But it hasn't really started out that well. Got to touch on the news a little bit. Now, I don't really do political humor. All I'm going to say about the old office and the new office is this. As far as what the new guy in the office is doing, if you got a house and you rent it out for 8 years, and the people living in it spend every day taking a shit in each one of the corners of the rooms, and after 8 years you move and you get somebody else, you gotta leave those windows open a while to get the stink out so he can unwrap his dishes and not have to worry about the stink of what happened before screwing everything up. So maybe give the guy a chance to see what he can do when he's finished sweeping out the old mess, you know? But as far as the rest of it, like I said, I'm not political. My only real problem with George W. Bush is I felt like when he was in office, it was like when you're riding in your car with your dad, and your dad just doesn't really get it. Can I listen to my new CD of 9 Inch Nails? Well, you'll never beat the fidelity of 8-track. That's all it's ever going to be in this car. And that's an Alabama 8-track, right? Oh, rockin'. But as far as the other news, now, okay, I'm from Florida, so I got to touch on a subject about the whale. You know, Tilikum, the killer whale that killed the trainer a few months ago. Now, I'm going to start off with this. It was a tragedy. It was really sad. Nobody is happy it happened. Everybody's really sorry. We wish the family the best. My problem with stuff like this is when people sit back and they say, we're sad, that's fine. We're horrified, that's fine. It's shocking. Why? Okay, look, a killer whale is 9 tons. It's basically body, flippers, and teeth, Lindsay Lohan without the alcohol dependence. And it's a wild animal. Think of that word wild. Wild animals, we usually put them in a cage and keep them out of the way so they don't hurt anybody. And the other thing on this planet we put into a cage so it doesn't hurt anybody is criminals. So maybe there's a reason for it, because something might go wrong and somebody might get hurt. And that's what happened here. But all the nuts come out of the woodwork and stuff like this happens. What was the whale thinking? Zag nuts. It's a whale. It's not like he sent her notes with the letters cut, I will kill you. It is a basic creature with basic instincts. And it's not shocking that she got killed. It was an accident. A horrible accident, but shocking? Shocking would have been if Shamu had leapt out of the water and beat her to death with a wiffle bat. But no, this isn't. I say the same thing for the tigers with Siegfried Roy, and I say the same thing for that woman that kept a chimp at home and got her face ripped off. Oh! You know, these are sad tragedies, but if you're messing with a wild animal, what do you think might happen here? They're not. I have a house cat. I have 2 of them, actually. Most docile thing you've ever seen in your life. One day I came home and she got ticked at the other cat because the cat went to the back door and started yowling at something. And this docile, prissy, lady-saying type cat that had never heard anybody just looked at her and said, I'm sick of your shit, and beat the hell out of her. And I ran over there, and her name was Fifi. I was a big Tiny Toons fan. It goes to show you where my life was. And this sounded good. Fifi, stop! And she turned around, and you let this happen. And the next thing you know, she is climbing my leg like it's Mount Everest. Digging, and I'm wearing a bathrobe, by the way. So, big screen door, and I'm running around screaming, ah! Oh my God, you can see this guy pushing this cat down. She's trying to match on the Mount St. Paul's here. I'm just shredded. And I'm, Phoebe, what? And she's like, oh, Jim. I'm dreadfully sorry. I'll be over here. And that's a domesticated house cat. A killer, what the hell, and the other part, and I love this part, this whale has been involved in murder before. Like he's in the crime syndicate. Let me level with you. I do my research because I love sea animals and stuff. I think they're majestic. This whale was involved in 3 incidents. 2 incidents were with trainers, and I'm sorry, it happens. The third one, and this shouldn't even count, was an actual official